Football Manager is a complicated game. Here are some very quick tips that might just help you out. Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel if you are returning here. My name is Clayts, and in today's video, we're going to look at some quick tips for Football Manager 2020. I've been thinking about this video for a while now, and it's a collection of the tips that I give to people on a regular basis, and it's not the obvious things like, I'm not going to tell you to have defenders or anything like that. These tips are the ones that are perhaps a little less obvious in the game and maybe a little bit more nifty. Did I just say nifty? So we're going to do 5 tips today, and please do let me know if you find any of these useful. Let me know if you have any ideas about anything else that we should do. Maybe we'll even make another video of these. But as I said, these are just tips that I find useful and nifty. My first tip is to do with reserve teams, your under 23s, your under 18s, your youth teams, your B teams, whatever you might call them, to do with which club you're at or which league you're in. These teams are vitally important for the future of your save. You know this already. This is one of those obvious tips. You know, you have to make sure that your youth team is good in the future. You get those wonder kids in, you turn into a world beating team. Every Football Manager player, I think, kind of knows that anyway. However, when you first load into a game, this is just on the vanilla dark skin in the game, you'll notice that to navigate to your B teams or to your under 23s or under 18s, you have to go into your development center and then go to your under 23s here or your under 18s here. You'll also notice that your squad screen here doesn't look the same as your normal squad screen over here. This is because automatically at the start of the game, the responsibility for the under 23 teams and the under 18 teams have been assigned to a different member of staff. If you then reassign those responsibilities to yourself in a certain little way, you can give yourself a tab over here, there, that will say your under 23s and your under 18s, meaning it's a lot easier to navigate to those squads, and also they look the same as your normal squads. To do that, you need to go to staff, click on staff, go to responsibilities. If you go to training responsibilities, you'll see here you've got your youth team training under 23s and under 18s. You can either take control of all of the training here. Again, it's up to you what you want to do here, but a little tip from me, if you just take control of the individual training for these players by clicking take control there and take control here, and then press confirm, you'll see straight away that these 2 tabs open up, under 23s, under 18s. You can then navigate to those teams. They then look like the squad screens that you are used to, which will help you when it comes to making sure that those players are training in the right way, making sure that they're getting the game time they need, they're going on the loans they need, all of those things that will help you for the rest of your save. Another little tip really quickly, you can move these around. If you click and hold these, you can drag your under 23s. If you want them to be underneath your squad screen here, you can move them to do so, which is quite an interesting little thing that you won't necessarily know about. Nifty. My second tip is to do with training, and if you just click on your training tab here, you are met with this screen. If you go to your training calendar, you will then see this. I'm going to go to August. Now, looking at this screen, I can understand that for a lot of Football Manager players, this can seem quite daunting. There's a lot of dates here. There are a lot of sessions. There's a lot of information to compute, and you don't want to mess things up. At least that's how I certainly feel about training, or I used to feel about training. That if I'm going to go and play around with this, is this going to make my team rubbish and not play very well? Am I going to ruin things? This is what I suggest you go about doing. Instead of trying to overhaul everything, let your assistant do your training to start with. This is my tip. Obviously, if you're confident and you know what you're doing, get involved, do your own training. It is a really useful tool. It can have some really good effects. However, what I suggest is let your assistant assign your training schedules like has been done here already. But if you want to do something different, if you want to push your tactical familiarity up, or if you want to work on set pieces, go and do so, but in the way that I'm going to show you now. Instead of, so let's go to this Thursday session here. They've got recovery, rest, and tactical. Instead of clicking on my tactical here, going to this screen, which has even more information on it, go into your set pieces, changing it. It's quite long. My tip is go to this, right click. If you right click, you've got a nice easy list to have a look at here. You want to train some set pieces, go to your set pieces. I'm going to train some defending free kicks. My team's been conceding loads of free kicks. Let's train some more of that. That is then done. and it seems to be a lot easier. There's a lot less information for you to go and have a look. However, if you don't know what each one is doing, if you do go and click on them, this is where you can find out. So if you want to know what your set pieces, what they actually do, click on them here. It can tell you what is being trained, what is being worked on. Right clicks are your friend when it comes to training. It's quick, it's easy. Change it like this. That's my second tip. Oh, I do just want to say that actually right-clicking is your friend across the game in lots of different ways as well. If you right-click on your tabs on this left-hand side here, for example, scouting, it does open a menu that can mean you can navigate to different parts of the game much quicker. If I want to go to scouting, what I usually do is I right-click on scouting here, go straight to a player search, and I'm there a lot quicker than if I show you what it's usually like. Scouting, player search. Just explore the game. There are lots of places where you can right-click that can save you lots of time. My third tip is to do with coach reports. So you've got your team, you're working out who your best players are, who's going to play in which positions. You might go to your coach reports to check up on a player to get a second opinion. This coach here, you can see, in his coach summary, has given Fabinho 3 stars for current ability, 4 stars for potential ability. Side note, please don't treat the stars as a be-all and end-all, but they are a useful tool to gauge whereabouts a player might be in comparison to the rest of the squad. Also remember that the stars are to do with how strong they are compared to the rest of your squad in the opinion of the coach that is giving you that. So if your coach is rubbish, actually his opinion might not be a great opinion to listen to. And that's kind of to do with what this tip is. So if I go over to the coach report here, you'll see that Mark Morris, who is a goalkeeping coach, gives Fabinho 3 stars. This is what his pros are, and he is 12 at judging ability, 13 at judging potential. So he's very average, and I'm sure that at Liverpool there are better coaches for judging ability and potential. You want to navigate to the coach that gives you the best opinion on a player, because that is going to be the closest to actually what they are like, the closest to what is real in terms of their pros and their cons, also in terms of other things in different reports depending on what you're looking at. The way that I want to do that is I want to go to a different coach here. I'm going to go and look. Tim Jenkins, 12-15, a little bit better, but not much more. This takes a long time. I'm going to go and look at Jonathan Robinson. Not as good, so actually I'm not going to look at Jonathan Robinson's. My third tip is, instead of clicking through these different coaches to find the best one by comparing them, instead, if you use your scroll wheel on your mouse, hovering over your coaches here, you can scroll through them. And this makes it a lot easier to find the coach that is the best suited to give you their report so that you can base it on that. So there's a 13-17 there from Pep Linders. That seems a lot better. If I carry on going through, 13-17 seems to be my best bet. 14-17 there. Alex Inglethorpe, I'm going to listen to you, I think, because you're going to give me the best idea of how good this player is compared to the other ones. He says there are no cons in Fabinho. I'm going to listen to Alex Inglethorpe. That's my little tip there. Ease of access thing. Use your scroll wheel. The scroll wheel can also be used in a few different places as well. So just remember that. Same with right clicks. If you try it out, you might find that there are things that can save you time. My fourth tip is to do with individual team talks, especially at half-time and especially for players that are on a yellow card. You see here, half-time in this game between Liverpool and Napoli, Trent Alexander-Arnold has picked up a yellow card. It would be a disaster if he decided to get sent off in the second half. That would leave us well and truly in the lurch. So you can use your team talks, and more specifically an individual team talk, to try and make sure that Trent doesn't get a second yellow. And actually it works most of the time. So if I give my normal team talk, I'm going to say this is pre-season, all good. If I then go to my individual team talk to Trent here and tell him calmly, or however you want him to do, tell him to calm it down to avoid getting another yellow card. You see that he's composed at the moment in terms of his body language. I'm going to tell him to calm down. He's seemed to calm down. This works more often than you think it would. Trent now will almost certainly not go and get himself a second yellow card in this game. And well, I mean, let's test that now. And there you go, final whistle. Trent's still on the pitch, no red card. Obviously, this tip doesn't work 100% of the time, but trust me, in my experience, it works more often than not. Especially if a player gets an early yellow card, it can be a bit of a tightrope for the rest of the game. Really do use those individual team talks at half-time to make sure they stay on the pitch. It works dividends. We've beaten Napoli 3-0. My fifth and final tip for today's video is to do with your manager profile and specifically your manager profile picture. This is something I get asked a lot. Whenever I'm playing on my save, people see that I have my own custom photo for the manager. They ask me how you go about doing it, so I'm putting it into today's video. It's no secret, it's just in preferences, but because I get asked a lot, I'm going to show you how you do that today. So if you go to FM, Preferences, and make sure you are on Advanced, scroll down, there is an option here called Change Profile Picture. I mean, it seems obvious, but the amount of people that don't know this is here. I guess it's because you probably expect it to be over here where you click on your manager picture and you can change the appearance in terms of in-game, how they look. You'd probably expect it to be there, but no, it's in Preferences. Go to Change Profile Picture. And then if you just find the image from your own document, I'm going to go with a picture of Ricky Martin there. If you reload the skin after this, as you see, it's already changed at the top there behind as it's reloading. You'll have your own custom manager picture ready to go. There he is, Ricky, looking lovely, look. And that is going to be it for today's video then. If you did find those tips useful and nifty, please do let me know in the comments below. If there are any other things that you think we should having here in terms of tips, quick tips for people to make things easier in the game, please do let me know in the comments below. And before you go, please do subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on for notifications, give the video a like, share the love, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.